I think this is my least creative sketchbook. Let me explain. But before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that the video is sponsored by Skillshare. I have been working with Skillshare for quite some time now, as I use this site on a weekly basis, and I find it very helpful. If you don't know what Skillshare is, it is basically an online learning community with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. With a premium membership, you will get unlimited access to all of those learning classes. Urban sketching has always been an area where I tiptoe around, but this class by James Richard on Urban Sketching Essential is an excellent class. He shows his techniques on how to start urban sketching, drawing human figures in proportion, and establishing eye level. Skillshare is also super affordable, as the annual subscription is less than $10 a month, and if you click the link in the description, you can get 2-month free trial. You can cancel at any time, so you should definitely sign up and give it a try. The brief for this project was to design a zero-carbon house that can be self-built or dismantled and fits on a slope side or a flat side. So I've done some research on passive sustainable methods and construction, and then I landed on prefabricated timber construction, which is proven to be more eco-friendly than traditional masonry construction. These printouts are from a book called Design and Build in Timber Frame, explaining the different types of timber frame construction. One is called post and beam, while the other is platform frame. There's also balloon frame, however that type is mainly used in the US. I love printing out the articles or research from time to time, as it just makes it easier for you to highlight and add notes to, comparing to writing everything yourself, which takes ages, let me tell you that. These pages are more research into the science of zero carbon and a few examples of zero carbon houses. These pages are probably the best pages of the sketchbook, which are my precedents. I always say that your project is as good as your precedents, so choosing good quality precedent study is a really important step for me, and these projects do not disappoint. I then started sketching out my concepts, and for me, my design method is using different volumes with different heights and roofs, and then connecting them to create the architecture. I tried to make the Edgeland house, which I mentioned in my last video, based on modular units, but it didn't work for the type of house I needed and the area, because that house is huge compared to zero carbon houses, which are often compact. I will have that video linked in the cards for you to check out, as the houses I share and the lessons from each project are very valuable to architectural students. Afterwards, I came up with this scheme, which I thought was interesting and was heading to where I wanted to be. Here I was finalizing the type of construction I'm using, which is platform frame construction using SIPS panel. I would highly suggest watching my previous axonometric tutorial as I go into construction in more detail. We had at this point stage 1 presentation, which was an informal sit down around the table and just having a chat about our projects and such. This is what I presented, so I had a pretty decent modular floor plan with different ranges. So for example, the client can purchase the large unit and then he can purchase the private office or the additional 2 bedrooms in the future. It needed more refinement and just a few pizzazz ideas here and there just to make it more special. And the next page was showing the sections. It kind of showed the idea I was trying to achieve, but just not quite there yet, but almost. Unfortunately, this is where things changed, so I've met with a lecturer who had kind of explained the project to me differently. He was saying that these units I'm adding to the building, or the so-called accessories, should be all one shape and same height, and they all must fit into the lorry, and I'm always fascinated with the sculpture work of Frank Gehry. So I took it as a mission to make Frank Gehry's architecture modular and eco-friendly. So I started sketching out some different shapes and how they could be combined, while also working on CAD to creating a basic rectangular plan to figure out kind of how these units will work. He then says not to have different proportions, so that means that the basic unit is a square and then if I need any more space, then I will fit more units to create wider or longer units, which makes sense, but I felt literally in a box. The size that fits in a lorry is literally about 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters, so all of the crazy ideas that I was so excited about in the beginning of creating an original house just turned into dust, and just ended up being a house that was fit for mass production. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing, I'm just saying that the project didn't end up to be what I was hoping for. With the final presentation approaching, I couldn't really do any more sketching and designing and just had to go with the cubes. And these were the finalized units. So here I prepared my presentation board in Photoshop by combining different boards and then printing them out and sketching over it, which is a technique I've already shared on the channel in this video. I'll have it linked in the cards. So 3 days before the presentation, I printed out a lot of inspiration images from projects, and I just went crazy with sketches. Came up with a plan that I'm pretty happy with. These are my presentation boards that I presented. I like printing them out on an A4 and adding them to my sketchbook, as I think they show the whole journey of the project. And these are the plans and all of the drawings. There is one thing that is annoying me about the plan, but I won't say what it is to see if someone points it out first. So basically, we aren't graded for this presentation yet, as our final submission is in January. So we were all told that we had to explain how the design is flexible, but we had to actually show different schemes. So in January, I have to produce different schemes, sections, elevations, and perspectives of how these units could work, which is a lot of work. And that's not to forget that I also have a dissertation and I also have a theater plus renovation project on the side, plus I have YouTube, so I am not sure one of these schemes should explore the idea of the sustainable ferngary, or should I just continue with cubes because I have other submissions, and now we're starting this new project, and even if I give up sleep, I won't do everything I want to do on time. So any advice or inspiration would be really helpful and greatly appreciated. And before I leave this video, I just want to say that sometimes that's what happens in life. You submit something that you are not proud of, you're not very 100% happy with, but I guess that's fine, because this theater project I am super excited about, and I am highly motivated to make it something I am very proud of. And that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please give it a like and share, as it really helps support the channel. I'm Rasha Shururu, and I will see you next time.